Hey family, it's Pastor Gilliam, and listen, I'm so glad that you joined us for worship today. This past Sunday, we preached a sermon called A Righteous Church, and we ended that sermon with a couple of things. We ended that sermon, with the challenge to not give in to evil, but to give good in the face of evil. We also ended with an example, talking about the example of Shirley Chisholm, who was the first Black woman to run for a nomination for president in our country, and how she showed up for Governor George Wallace in his time of need. Governor George Wallace being an avowed racist, segregationist, and how that moment transformed and changed the trajectory for George Wallace's life. And I really didn't know this, but that sermon that we preached last Sunday, I've had to return to it several times. And I've really been sitting with the grief of the moment, with the challenge of the moment, like many of you, very sad, very disappointed, really, maybe not so much surprised. But as I continue to reflect, as I shared Wednesday, the passage in 2 Chronicles 20 and 12 that says to us, oh God, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you. I really absolutely am taking the words of Zora Neale Hurston, as she says their eyes were watching God, because that is in reality where we are in this moment. But even as we are looking towards God to be our source and to be our strength and to be our guide in this season, I want to challenge us to do a few particular things. Post the results of this election, what we really have to focus in on is community. We have to focus in on the ways that we show up for one another, the ways that we are caring for one another, the ways that we are looking out for our elders and for our children, for our brothers and for our sisters in Christ. And I think that is going to be vitally important for us in this season. I can't even imagine right now the ways that it will play out. But we're going to need one another in a very, very significant and powerful way. And so I want us over these next couple of months, as we prepare for 2025 and this transition in leadership in our country, and as we see how things shift and move, I want us to be prepared to be together, to work together, and to share together. And part of that being community means that we are called in this season to re-engage in the work of justice, to stand up and to make our voices heard. In fact, Frederick Douglass writes these words, that power concedes nothing without a demand. And whether it was Vice President Kamala Harris, who was the president, or President-elect Donald Trump, who was the president, whether it was Michelle Mosby, who was the mayor, or Danny Avula, who was the mayor, the words of Douglass remain true. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And so we have to engage in making sure that our demands are known, what we need for our community, what we need in order to thrive as people. We need to make sure that we are doing all that we can to make our demands known. This means that nationally, we have to get connected with organizing efforts like the work of Reverend Dr. William Barber. That means that statewide, as we prepare for the 2025 gubernatorial election in Virginia, we've got to link in with the Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy as they work to make sure that platforms and candidates are speaking up for the issues that matter to those who are the marginalized. And even locally, we are committed as a church being a part of RISC. And so I am encouraging each and every one of you to get involved with RISC, to come and partner alongside us in the work of justice. This work really, really matters, and it really makes a difference, not just for our communities, but for the communities of our Latino and Hispanic brothers and sisters, and really helps to make our entire community a safe and a just world for everyone. That has to be our goal. It has to be our focus in this season. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And if we don't make our demands known, then we won't get what we need. Just want to share these things with you as we prepare in a few moments to celebrate our veterans and those who have given up of themselves and their lives to serve our country, that it is our turn to serve our country in this way. It is our turn to serve our God in our kingdom in this way. And so I leave you with the words of Paul in Romans chapter 12, verse 21. Don't overcome evil with evil, but overcome evil with good. Well, many of us are grieving. I know this is a challenging moment as we settle into a new reality, and I don't want you to rush through those emotions at all. Feel what you're feeling, but make sure that you commit to getting involved in the work of justice, that you are giving good, that you are showing love. And I'm really looking forward to us celebrating the 11 veterans who are a part of our congregation and the other veterans who are a part of our church. And so now I'll pass it to Minister Bobby Tate as she leads us in a moment of recognizing our veterans today.